So now let's look at two more graphs, and I'm going to do this video a bit quicker than the last one. If you're kind of confused on the method, please refer back to the previous video. And let's go ahead and graph r equals 2 plus sine theta. So once again, I graphed in Cartesians y equals 2 plus sine x. And as you see, all the values are going to be positive, so this graph is going to be a bit easier to visualize. Let's go ahead and I went ahead and put dots on the pretty important points that we're going to be looking at, starting at 0, 2. So at an angle of 0, that's going to be right here, we have an r value of 2. So I'm going to go ahead and plot that right here. And the next point is pi over 2, 3. So pi over 2 is going to be this angle right here, and we have an r value of 3. So I'm going to go ahead and plot that. Now let's look at the of how the graph is changing, the behavior of the graph from 0 to pi over 2. Well, it's pretty much just increasing, never getting past 3, starting at 2, so it's kind of gonna get bigger and bigger. Notice that for each angle, if you drew out the r, the distance from the pole right here to the graph, right here and right here, it increases. So here it's going to be 2, then it's going to increase up until we get to 3. So now let's look at this next section from pi over 2 to pi, and at pi we have a r value of 2, so pi is this angle, r value of 2. Once again, ignore the negative signs. I really don't know why they're there. And well, it's decreasing from pi over 2 to pi, from 3 to 2. So once again, kind of going to be coming in right here. So now let's look from pi to 3 pi over 2. Well, at 3 pi over 2, this angle right here, we have an r value of 1. So that's going to be this point right here, 3 pi over 2, 1. And it's kind of decreasing, and always positive between 2 and 1. Sorry about that. It's pretty ugly. There we go. And let's look at this last section to complete this. From 3 pi over 2 to 2 pi. Well, we're starting at 1. We're getting back to this point of 2 pi, 2. 2 pi being this angle, 2 being right here. And it's just increasing and nothing special. So that's a graph of 2 plus sine theta. So that's not too difficult of a problem. Now let's get into something a bit trickier, which is r equals sine 3 theta. Zoom in a bit. So ignore the axes. I kind of changed the units. 1 is going to be way up here instead of going 1, 2, 3. 1's going to be way out here, just so that you don't come up with a really small graph. So we have the function r equals sine 3 theta. Went ahead and graphed y equals sine 3x. And now let's go ahead and work with that. And so I went ahead and plotted out these points. And so we're starting at 0, 0. So at an angle of 0 radians out here, we have an r value of 0. So that's going to be right at the pole. And we're going to go up to 1, and this angle right here is pi over 6. It's going to go pi over 6, pi over 3, pi over 2. These intervals of important values is going to be pi over 6. So the next point is 1 and pi over 6. So pi over 6 comma 1, sorry. And so let's go ahead and plot that. Well, pi over 4 is this line over here, so pi over 6 is going to be somewhere along here. And we have a value of 1, so that's going to go pretty much over there. And we can see it's just increasing. So we're going to go ahead and draw that. So from pi over 6 to pi over 3, this point right here, it's decreasing from r equals 1 to r equals 0. So I'm the point back here at the pole. It's pretty much going to come back from this point right here to the pole, and notice that the moment it enters the pole, if we drew a line tangent here, so a line tangent to where it enters the pole, so kind of like that, that's going to be that angle pi over 3. So whenever you're coming back to the pole, it's a good way to check yourself if you're coming in the right way, if you're drawing it right, is if you draw a tangent line over there, it should have that same angle. So let's go ahead and look at from pi over 3 to pi over 2. At pi over 2, that's this angle right here. We have a value of r equals -1. So if positive 1's over here, negative 1's going to be way down here. And it's going to come out, once again, tangent to that pi over 3. So tangent to this line over here. So it's going to kind of look like that. And it's negative, so instead of looking at these values right here, pi over 3 to pi over 2, we're going to be looking at these values right here. So it's going to kind of come out tangent and loop around to there, or probably a bit more like that. And so from pi over 2 to 2 pi over 3, which is kind of going to be over there, all the values are going to be negative, and it's going to come back to the pole. So once again, it's kind of going to look like that, and it's going to come in tangent to that 2 pi over 3. From 2 pi over 3 to this will be 5 pi over 6. So 5 pi over 6, that's going to be this angle right here. We have a r of 1. So let's go ahead and plot that. And it's going to be increasing from 0, going to come out tangent to 2 pi over 3. So we're going to come out tangent to 2 pi over 3 like that. And it'll curl in like that. And lastly, and you'll see why I say lastly, even though we didn't get to 2 pi, from 5 pi over 6 back to pi, it goes back to 0, so we're going to come back to the pole from 5 pi over 6. It's going to be decreasing, all positive, so that's pretty easy. And once again, notice we're coming tangent to pi. So this kind of the end of this line is going to be tangent to this coordinate axes. So if we went on and kept on graphing it, let's see, from pi to 7 pi over 6, so we're looking from here to here, well, the values are all negative and going to 1, so instead of being out here, it'll be over here, so that's just going to be this line again. If you keep on looking at it, it'll just follow this graph twice. So if we looked at this from 0 to 2 pi, if we graphed it, we'd actually be graphing this twice. We'd be going around twice. So keep that in mind, because later on when you guys are going to be finding the area inside, or even the arc length, like what is the perimeter of this, you guys are going to have to kind of remember what the period is so that you guys aren't taking double the area. So keep that in mind and just follow that method. And next video, we're going to look at 2 more graphs and kind of notice a pattern.